The Supreme Court recently sent shockwaves through the e-commerce community when it handed down a decision that essentially changed state sales tax laws across the country overnight. Sorry about that. And when that decision was handed down, us as small and medium-sized sellers were really concerned because we weren't sure how to deal with the state laws from every single different state. I'm happy to report that there is now a really simple solution to this problem. If you guys aren't familiar with this Supreme Court case, basically what happened with it was that before June of 2018, states were only allowed to require sellers to collect sales tax and then to send it to that state, on a regular basis if the seller had a physical presence inside that state. After June of 2018, though, things changed. And that's because a lot of states, such as South Dakota, really didn't like this physical presence requirement because they said that in the age of the internet, so much stuff is being sold to buyers within their state from sellers in other states that it just wasn't fair. So South Dakota and other states enacted a whole bunch of laws anyway, and South Dakota's law said that you don't need to have a physical presence inside our state as a seller in order to collect sales tax, in order to be required to collect sales tax. Instead, you just have to have what's called a substantial economic nexus. And in the case of South Dakota, their rule was that if you sell $100,000 worth of items into our state, or you have 200 separate transactions into our state within the past year, then we're going to require you to collect sales tax. Now, at the time that South Dakota enacted that law, they couldn't enforce it because the Supreme Court had previously said that laws like that aren't valid under the Constitution. But there was some suing back and forth. This case went all the way up to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court said that South Dakota's law is completely valid after all. That means that states are now allowed to require us to collect sales tax if we hit a certain threshold. In the case of South Dakota, that's $100,000 or 200 items. Now, there are several other states with the same exact law as South Dakota, $100,000 or 200 items. We know that all those laws now are valid. There are other states with a higher threshold. Like I think one state has a $250,000 threshold. That law we also know is valid because that's a higher threshold. There are some states, though, with a lower threshold. We don't know if those laws are valid because the Supreme Court wasn't really clear. They didn't give a clear boundary on what counts as a valid law at what threshold. Of the states that did enact laws, some are only going forward, some are going backwards, they're retroactive. Others, states are saying they're not going to enact laws at all. Other states are saying that they do plan on enacting laws, but they're waiting until Congress acts or whether they're going to act at all. So this is very confusing, especially for me. I've done over $1 million in sales on eBay using eBay dropshipping in the past year. I also run a course over at dropshippingtitans.com, and I've taught hundreds of other people how to run profitable eBay dropshipping stores. So myself and my students, we have a real vested interest in finding a solution to this problem. Up until now, we didn't have one, but I'm glad to say that we now have a really simple solution to this problem. And that's what I want to share with you guys today. I just want to real quick see who's in the chat and a whole bunch of people here in the live chat because I am doing this video live for you guys. We have Matt from Chicago, Rex in from Nashville, Tennessee, Chris is in here. Great to have all you guys. We have Andy from Seattle as well. But I do want to show you guys this software that I'm talking about. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and let you guys check out what it looks like. Just going to do that here. Okay, so this is a software that I've been using for a little while now, but I'm really excited by these new additions that they've made to the software. It's called taxjar. And if you do ultimately use taxjar, I do have an affiliate link to it that is right underneath this video. It's the second link underneath the link to my course. And that is an affiliate link, but I only recommend this product because I've used it, I like it, And now with these new changes, I absolutely love it and actually think it is required. It's like essential for e-commerce sellers, especially drop shippers, because we do have such a high volume of sales. So let me show you what this looks like once you set it up for the first time. So the first time that you log into taxjar, what it's going to do is it's going to link up with your PayPal account. You see that up here, it says one linked account. That's my PayPal account. If you're in eBay, it'll be PayPal. If you're using something else like Shopify, you would have to connect up with that one. But I do eBay, so I've linked up my PayPal account. And then the second thing it's going to ask is, which state are you collecting sales tax for already? So in my case, it was New York, because before June of 2018, I only had a Nexus with New York State, because that's the only state I have a physical presence in. So for now, I just have the state of New York here. So I logged in, it shows me the state of New York right here. It shows me my 2018 summary. You see my gross sales are almost $1 million. It shows which sales were taxed. $48,000 worth of those sales were into the state of New York. And I collected $4,800 of sales tax this calendar year for 2018. It also shows me each state that I'm responsible for right here. Right now, again, it's just New York. And it shows right here, when's the next time that I have to take sales tax that I collected and send it to New York State. So that is September 20th. And you can change this if you only want it to be done monthly or yearly or quarterly. That depends on the state and depends on you. So you can change that here if you want. This shows me that for this reporting period, I collected almost $740 in sales tax. And you could add more states here, which we'll go over in a second. But for now, I'm going to click here where it says sales tax report. And that's going to actually show me a breakdown for New York. You see up here it says New York. And it shows the reporting period or the filing period, June 1st to August 31st. So I'm kind of right in the middle of it right now. It shows my actual sales tax collected. And over here is my expected sales tax, what they predict. I kind of ignore that because it's just a prediction. If you scroll down, this actually shows me every single county that I had a buyer in and how much sales tax I collected for buyers in that county. Not really necessary to know this information, but it is all there. But if you do scroll down all the way to the end, the bottom, this is how you actually file the sales tax at the end of the quarter or month. So you can click here that says manually file or file manually, and they actually give you detailed instructions telling you exactly how to file the sales tax returns to your state, in this case, New York. And every state's going to be different, but it's really easy to follow these steps, and it'll tell you exactly what to do. Or another option, if you go back, you can actually enroll in what's called auto file. So if you click this, what it's going to do is it's going to allow you to set it up so that at the end of every quarter, taxjar is actually going to file your sales tax for you. So once you set this up once, then it'll just run in the background and you'd never have to worry about it. You see here, it shows that I collected $739 in sales tax. I was supposed to collect $744.73. So I'm under collected by $4.83. That does happen sometimes. Sometimes you under collect, sometimes you over collect for a number of reasons. Sometimes your percentage is off, your tax percentage. In this case, what I found out was that I listed an item and I never attached the sales tax table on eBay to that item. So a couple of people, or one person bought it, and I was supposed to collect sales tax on the item, but I never did. So it's just $4.83 here, and that shouldn't happen again if I'm more careful. So I'll probably set up auto enroll in the future, depending on how many states I have to collect and remit sales tax for. If it's just one state, I'm fine doing it manually. That's pretty easy to do on your own. So the other thing I wanted to show you here is right here, this little box. It says I have a $288.64 in refund orders from prior periods. So in other words, these were orders that I collected sales tax on, and then the item was returned, so I refunded the buyer. And because of that, I now have sales tax that I pay to New York that I should really get back. So if you click on this, it'll actually show you how to do that. If I scroll down, it says I'm owed $15.28. So you can actually go in and file what's called an amended return. So this is for the one that I did earlier this year, and it'll just allow me to get back that $15.28. So that's something I never would have kept track of. I never kept track of. I didn't even know about it. So that's pretty cool right there, that's saving me money right there, because that's something I never knew about. The other thing I wanted to show you, which I thought was pretty funny, well, first you can click here and see all the transactions that were taxed, but I'm not going to do that now. I'm going to click here where it says view gross sales from all states, because I want to show you something really cool here. So it shows I collected or had $11,000 in sales. Let's do all of this year, actually. Okay, so this year I've sold $66,000 worth of items to customers in New York. $47,000 of that was taxed, and actual sales tax collected was $4,200. So it says I'm under collected a little bit, and that's just because, again, in the beginning of the year, I had opened up a new store and forgot to create a sales tax table. And I'll talk more about that in a quick second. But what I wanted to show you here was that you can actually see every state, how much money was spent by buyers in that state for your store. So if I sort here by total sales, you'll see my most popular state is California, then is international buyers, then is Florida, and after Florida is New York. Florida is 76 and Texas is 65, but New York's right in the middle there at $66,000. So New York is one of my most popular states, but I've been collecting sales tax and charging sales tax to New York customers for over a year now. So a lot of people are concerned that if they start charging their buyers sales tax, buyers aren't going to buy their items. But that's just not true, because as you see here, New York buyers are still purchasing items from me, even though I've been charging sales tax to them for over a year now. If you also scroll down, I think this is pretty funny. Where is it? You see my least popular state here is Hawaii. And that's because I don't ship to Hawaii. But in this case, what happened was, again, when I set up my new store, I didn't set it up correctly. I wasn't really paying attention. And somebody bought the item from Hawaii, even though I normally exclude that. So it's pretty funny, because actually in my course, I show you exactly how to exclude states like Hawaii. I show you exactly how to set up your sales tax table so you don't mess up here like I did and under collect. And yet I didn't even follow my own advice there when I set up a new store this year. I since, of course, went back and basically followed my own course to set it up correctly and don't have those problems anymore. But if you notice here, my least popular, well, not state, but it's DC. And you see here, down here, way at the bottom is South Dakota. I just think that's funny, because South Dakota is the state that actually brought this case to the Supreme Court. And because they wanted us to pay sales tax to them, and they're like one of my most least popular states. So there's no way that I'm ever going to hit their threshold. So I'm never going to owe them money, which kind of makes me feel a little better about the whole thing, to be honest. So let's just go back here to the dashboard, because I want to show you one more thing. And that's right here under Sales and Transaction Checker. If you click Run the Checker, it's going to scan all your purchases that you received and determine which states you now have to start collecting sales tax for, this economic nexus that we spoke about. So the first time you run the checker, it might actually take a few hours. It took a few hours for me. Then you're going to get an email telling you it's complete. Once you do that, you can come back and it's going to tell you which states you've crossed the threshold in. For me, it's 11 states. So that is a lot. So that means I'm going to have to start collecting sales tax for these states. But just keep in mind that as a new seller, you're not going to hit the threshold in any states for a while. And then once you do, you're going to hit it in one state, and then a little later, it's going to be another state, and then a little later, it's going to be another state. So it's going to be easier for you to keep up with it as a new seller. Obviously, this is going to take some work for me to set up collecting sales tax for all these states right off the bat right here, all 11 at once, I should say. But taxjar does make it very easy. It tells you what to do. You click here, and it tells you what to do for every single state. And again, this is a good problem to have, because this means I'm selling a lot of items, I'm making a lot of money. And as we saw on the other screen, just because I'm charging sales tax does not mean people are going to stop buying from me. I'm still making great sales in New York, so this is not something I'm worried about. I'll go in probably this weekend, set up for these 11 states, set up taxjar to auto file probably, and then it's just all running in the background. I don't have to worry about it. So just to recap what taxjar does, you log in, you sign up, you connect your PayPal account, and you choose your first state. It takes like a little while for it to collect all your transactions. Once it does, you can go ahead and run the checker if you've been selling for a while. If not, you probably don't have to, but it's a good idea to try it anyway. Once you have it set up like that, it's very easy at that point. All you do is come in here once a quarter or once a month, click Sales Tax Report, scroll down to the bottom, and file manually your sales tax return. Then if you want, you can come up here where it says Filing History, add it in here so you can easily keep track of it. And that's all you have to do. It makes it so easy. To make it even easier, you can set it up just like I said before, then enroll in auto file, and then it all runs in the background. You don't have to worry about any of it. It's all being taken care of for you. So I give like a huge applause to taxjar for really stepping up and making our lives as small and medium-sized sellers much, much easier after the Supreme Court ruling. And I'm really happy with their service. So if you guys do want to check out taxjar, like I said, I do have an affiliate link. That's the second link in the description. I don't get much if you guys sign up through that, but I do get a little kickback, which will help me support this YouTube channel. It doesn't cost you guys any extra to use that link, but I think if you go through that link, you do get 2 weeks for free to try it out if you guys want to give it a shot. So I am here for a while longer. If anyone has any questions they want to ask, feel free to ask them. If you want to ask questions about this sales tax thing or taxjar, I'd be happy to answer them. If you guys have any other questions, I'm sure I can answer those too about eBay or Amazon dropshipping. And if you guys like this little demonstration about taxjar, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. And just remember that I'm always making videos like this, tutorials about new software, new ways that you can run your online business to make it easier for you. So if you don't want to miss those videos, make sure that you do subscribe to the channel. This one's live. If you want to make sure you don't miss any live videos, also make sure that you hit the bell notification so you get an alert as soon as I do go live. So I'm going to take a look at questions here to see if what people are asking about here. Okay. And Kenneth White saying, woohoo, auto file all the way. Couldn't agree more. It makes it so much easier. Okay. Okay, Kevin's asking, Kevin says, what is the money amount sales minimum you have to reach before you're required to file these taxes? And again, man, Kevin, I said it earlier, but it's different for every state. If you use taxjar, it's going to tell you when you hit that threshold. So just use it. Don't worry about trying to figure it out on your own. I had a whole spreadsheet going. I was trying to make it really easy for you guys, but I was having difficulty because it is complicated. There are 50 states and they're all over the place. Taxjar just making it super simple for us. So go ahead and check that out. That's what I would recommend to do. Okay. So 2 people asked a similar question, and this one that I've been asking myself, and unfortunately I don't have an answer yet, but I am seeking one out because I want to make sure I have a real expert. So Jake asked this question, Music Mania asked this question, and I'm asking this question as well. Chris is asking the question. And that is, once you hit that threshold, are you responsible for all the sales in the past year? Is it only moving forward? At what point were you supposed to be collecting sales tax? That's a big question I have as well. So once I find that answer, I will let you guys know. I'll probably update the description of this video to let you know. But my best advice for that would be to speak to a sales tax expert, or maybe taxjar will have a video about that soon. So thank you to Jay Goldie, just dropping $5 into the super chat. Super helpful for that, Jay Goldie. Really appreciate that. Jay Goldie says, thanks for making your channel and course the #1 stop shop for dropshipping knowledge. Thanks, I really appreciate that. That super chat right there. And Mr. Medina is asking about the course. Has any students making a profit? Mr. Medina, just go over to the sales page. You can click the first link. There's a lot of student testimonials over there if you want to check them out. Yancey has a great question. I might have the answer for you, Yancey. Yancey says, I've set up my tax table in eBay, but my tax collection on eBay has been inconsistent. Why is that? That could be because you're not adding the sales tax table to new listings. So when you do add a listing, you will have to then go in and make sure that the sales tax table is attached to that listing. And you can do that in bulk if you want to. If you just go to all your listings and edit them in bulk, you can add the sales tax table to them. If you're using something like taxjar and you know for certain that the sales tax table has been attached to all your listings, but you're still under collecting for some reason, that could be because the percentage in every different county is a little different. And unfortunately, eBay doesn't let you change the sales tax percentage based on different counties, only by state. So you really have to maybe raise the percentage a little bit in order to cover all the different counties, but then you run the risk of over collecting sales tax. If you over collect, you then have to report that you over collected it, but that's kind of beyond my scope of expertise. That's something I would maybe look more into. Sea Monkeys also dropping $5. Didn't even say anything, Sea Monkeys. Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate these super chats. It's pretty awesome, guys. Thanks so much. Marcus is asking if we should hire a CPA for this. Marcus, that's really up to you. I can't really tell you one way or the other. I'm just going to tell you what I'm doing personally. Personally, I'm just using taxjar and letting that take care of everything for me. I'm really impressed with it. I'll probably still speak to a tax expert anyway, have them look at taxjar and what I'm doing to make sure it's correctly. And of course, I'll let you guys know what they say. But that's really up to you whether you want to do that or not. So Mr. Medina is asking about PayPal jail. A little off topic to what we're talking about, but we are talking about money and PayPal. So I'm going to answer this question for you. Mr. Medina says, after PayPal holds your money for, so basically when you first start selling on eBay, PayPal puts you into what we call PayPal jail. It's basically just a probation period to make sure that you're a legit, responsible seller before they really let you take your money instantly from the buyers. So during that 3-month period, PayPal holds your money, but they only hold it until the item has been marked as delivered. If you upload a tracking number and the tracking number then shows that the item was delivered, they're going to release your money at that point. After the 3 months, they stop holding your money altogether. So I hope that makes sense. Okay. Jay is asking a question about becoming tax exempt. A little bit different than what we were talking about. Tax exempt is when I buy an item from Walmart.com. For most items that I buy, I don't have to pay sales tax for it. And that's because I'm tax exempt at Walmart. And I'm not collecting sales tax because, I'm sorry, Walmart's not collecting sales tax from me because I'm not the end consumer. The end consumer is my buyer on eBay. So your question is, will I only be collecting sales tax from my home state? So if you're tax exempt on Walmart, you're not going to be tax exempt for every state, just a lot of them, most of them. And that's separate and apart from whether or not you have to collect sales tax. So check out this video again, check out taxjar, and that's going to let you know for which states you have to collect sales tax for. And I know this was a very brief overview of sales tax, but I do go over, if any of you that are inside my course, I do go over it in more depth inside the course. If you guys are members of that, you might want to check out module 15. It's in there as well. And I'll be making some updated videos, hopefully in the next week or two, specifically about this Supreme Court ruling and taxjar and how you can use it to your advantage to be a successful and profitable dropshipper who is complying with all the laws. Wow, Phil Clark is dropping another $5 into the super chat, says, thanks for all you do to help the rest of us. My pleasure, guys. This is amazing. I've received a very small super chat in the past, but to receive a super chat from 3 of you guys is really awesome. Thanks, guys, so much. I just love making these videos for you guys and helping you out. So I never expected anything like this. So you guys are awesome. Thank you. Bobby wants to know if this sales tax thing is something I'm eventually going to hand off to a virtual assistant. Probably not. And because this is like well, I don't know, probably not, because I'll probably just enroll in the auto file and then it's just running in the background. It's just doing its own thing. So it's not something I really have to even worry about. It's just going to be done for me. Kevin Manson just raised the bar of the super chats to $10. Thank you, Kevin. That's super cool of you. Thanks, guys, so much. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna have to find something fun to do with this money, and I'll let you guys know what it is. So Jason is asking, if you become tax exempt at Walmart and Home Depot, can you use that tax exempt in the retail stores or only online? So the answer is you can actually use them in store. I've never done it, so I'm not exactly sure how to do it. But I know with Home Depot, you get a number, tax exempt number with them, and you can bring that in and I think use it at the Home Depot Pros desk, I believe. I'm not sure if you can use it at the regular register, but give it a shot. But just remember, you have to follow the rules here. Make sure you're doing it correctly. You can't get tax-free on an item that you're going to use yourself. That's against the rules. So just make sure you're doing it right. I don't want anyone to get in trouble here. Jeffrey wants to know if I'll be offering any kind of discount on my course on Black Friday or Christmas. I don't know. That's a long way off. I don't normally give discounts to my... Actually, I've never really given a discount for my Dropshipping Titans course, only when it first launched, but I haven't had a sale on it ever, so to speak. Okay. So Dahlia says, so basically you get to keep the sales tax that your supplier didn't charge you, only pay that tax when customer is from the state you have Nexus with. Sort of, Dahlia. I don't want to get too far into this during this video, but just the basics of it is that you have to collect sales tax in certain states, which I covered in this video, and and that's basically that's part of it. For getting tax exempt is a little bit different than the way you describe it. If you are a member of my course, it is in module 15, but maybe I'll make another video in the future, but probably not about how to become tax exempt because it is inside my course. Okay, Monsif says, buyers have no problem when they receive a product from Walmart. In other words, if it's dropshipped from Walmart. Well, Monsif, if you check out my last video, it was released July 11th, 2018, just yesterday. I made a pretty cool video explaining how buyers don't care if they get an item from another source like Walmart or Amazon.com, even though they ordered it from eBay. So go ahead and check out that video after this one or right now, and you'll see everything about that video. Actually, check it out later. But you'll see exactly why buyers don't care if the item comes from another website. Kevin says, do you have to have a registered business to collect sales tax? So Kevin, you need to be registered in the state that you want to collect sales tax for. So I'm registered in New York. I'm going to have to register now, as you saw before, in 11 other states. Once I register, then I can collect sales tax and then remit it to the state every quarter or monthly, whatever they want me to do. I'll do it. Or I'll have taxjar do it. Okay. And Phil says you can be a sole proprietor and get a tax ID number and then use that to register to collect sales tax. Brian says, I bought the course and started a month ago and already hit $1,200 in sales. Way to go, Brian. That's awesome, man. Nancy says, I had a lady who was confused once because the box came from Walmart. She said that from now on, she was going to shop on Walmart.com. I told her that's okay. Thanks for shopping with us. I love that response. Julio says, can I let my sister use my sales tax number from Home Depot if we live in the same house? If it's your business and her business, yes, I'm assuming that you can, but make sure that you're using it for the correct reasons is the only thing I would warn you about. You don't want to use it to buy items for yourself, like I said before. But yeah, if you're the same business, it should be fine. Yes, Anita, taxjar does have a price attached to it. I'm not sure what the pricing is. I think just for the initial, what I showed you is pretty inexpensive. I think when what does cost money is doing the auto filing, but I'm not certain how much that is. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Tax jar pricing for you guys. I should have had that prepared. It's $19 a month to get started. You can get a discount if you prepay for a year, and then it also costs money to get the auto filing. But you do get one auto filing for free, so you might as well try it. Okay. Tio says, I just made my first $100. Man, that must feel good. I remember my first few sales I made on eBay way over like a year and a half ago now. And it just felt so good. At that time, it was just a small amount, but I knew if I just get that one amount, that small amount, that I think it was like $3 or something in profit. If I could do that once, that means I could do it 100 times. And I just scale up from there. That's the beauty of eBay dropshipping, is that it's so easy to scale it up. Once you make that first sale and understand how it works, you can just duplicate that process over and over and over again. Tim is also here, one of my students. Tim says, 2 weeks in and already had $1,000 in sales. Paul's course works. Thanks, Tim, for that vote of confidence. Great to have you in the Titans tribe, which is the Facebook group for members of my course. Okay. Yes, so Kevin is asking why his repricing tool that he uses, which is DSM tool, the same one that I use, how come it's inaccurate sometimes? That's because it's just some sort of glitch in the system, the connection between DSM tool and the source. It could also be a timing thing, as Sarah pointed out, because DSM tool updates every hour, and if the price changes somewhere within that hour, that could be the reason why. DSM tool uses something called API, I believe, and it pulls the information from other websites like Home Depot using that API. And for some reason, sometimes the API information is off of what the actual price is on the website. There's nothing the repricers can do about that. Every one of them uses the same system as far as I know. So every one of them would have that same pricing error. It's pretty rare that it happens, but it does happen, and it's just something you got to roll with. Sea Monkey says, Paul, you're an attorney. Can you keep me out of jail if I just keep the sales tax and use it to buy a sailboat? I think that's terrible suggestion. I mean, I like the idea of moving on to a sailboat personally. You can use that sailboat and maybe flee the country. You might have a hard time finding you after that, but I don't think it's a smart idea personally, man. Another one of my students, Floyd, is here, says, I bought your course and started listing last week. Already made 5 sales, $330. Keep up the great work, Floyd. It's only going to get better from here. It's great hearing this from so many of my students, because when I first started, I didn't get my first sale in my first week. It took me much longer than that. So it's awesome to hear that people are learning from my mistakes and my experience and actually making sales themselves. So congratulations, Floyd. Okay, so Elite GP is asking a great question about Giving Assistant. Giving Assistant is the cashback website that I use. Basically, I go on Giving Assistant, I click a button on Giving Assistant, it takes me to Home Depot, and once I do that, I get about 3% back on all my orders. There's a ton of different websites like this. Ebates is another big one. Simply Best Coupon is another big one, but I use Giving Assistant, I like that one. With Giving Assistant or any of these, when you're on the website, it might tell you you're going to get 8% back if you shop on Home Depot, or 15% back if you shop on Amazon. But if you actually do some digging, you'll see that's only in certain categories. So for instance, with Home Depot, it's for very limited categories, and usually you're only going to get 3% back on most purchases. So just be aware of that. 3% though does add up pretty quickly. If you see, like, I've done over $1 million in sales, what's 3% of $1 million? I don't know what that is, but you'll see that can add up pretty quickly. Okay. Nancy says, do you know how long it takes Home Depot to ship? They usually ship out really quickly. I have a 3-day handling time on my store and never had a problem with Home Depot, and I use them a lot. I shouldn't say never. Sometimes some of their products have a longer handling time, and that's usually for some products that they actually pretty much drop ship themselves from outside vendors. Sometimes those outside vendors take a long time. You'll usually see an extended shipping time in the listing on homedepot.com. So you might want to keep an eye out for that. But for most items, it is like a 1 to 2 day shipping time. Haven't really had any problems. And speaking about Home Depot, Floyd is asking me what source I use to buy my Home Depot gift cards. And there's really 2 schools here, right? You can get discounted gift cards, meaning that you'll buy a, let's say, $100 Home Depot gift card and you'll pay only like $95 for it. So you save $5. Websites like that, a good one to go to is like raise.com. That's one I've used in the past. But I don't buy discounted gift cards anymore, just because when you buy discounted gift cards, you're going to get a $25 one, $30 one, then a $80 one, then a $10 one. It's a lot of gift cards to manage. If there's ever returns or cancellations, it just gets a little bit too much for me to handle. And it just didn't feel very scalable. In the beginning, it's definitely a great idea, a great way to make some extra profit on your sales. But now what I do is I have 10 gift cards. I refill them every single day directly on homedepot.com. My VAs have those gift cards or the numbers for them. They just use those to check out on Home Depot. That way, I don't have to give them my credit card information. Let's see. All right. Let's see. Black God is here. Another one of my students, also crushing it. Congratulations, man. It's a grind, he says, but it works. Absolutely, I can't agree with you more about that, because this does require work. Yeah, I try to show you here on the YouTube channel, if you want to take the course, exactly how to run and start a successful and profitable eBay dropshipping business. But ultimately, it's up to you to put in the work and put in the time. When I first started, I was obsessively working on my store. Granted, I didn't really have a good system or a good knowledge base to go off of to learn how to do it. So I was kind of teaching myself along the way. But even now, with all the information available to a lot of you guys, you still have to put in the hard work. I'm not going to lie about that. But if you do put in the hard work, it does pay off. I've seen it transform people's lives, and it's transforming mine as well. So great work, Black God, and keep it up. Keep up the grind. Okay, Bobby Gordon is here. Says, I apologize for flooding your videos with questions. No, man, ask any questions you want. If you're flooding me with questions and I don't like them, I'll just ignore it. No, I'm kidding. I try not to ignore any questions. Sometimes I'll see a question I won't answer, and it's only because I've answered it in the past, probably several times. So I want some more fresh questions. So if you go back and watch a lot of my previous videos, you'll probably see your question answered there. But let's see what Bobby's asking now. He's saying, he's on the fence about whether to start dropshipping. I'm a little OCD about doing tasks and want to be informed. I'm not quite sure what you're asking there, Bobby, what your question is, but I will say that with anything, you just got to get started. And I know that it can be overwhelming thinking about all the different things you have to worry about. Maybe you haven't even started a dropshipping business and you just saw me talk about all this sales tax stuff. You're like, oh my gosh, what is Paul talking about? How am I going to handle all this sales tax stuff? Just know that these are only problems that come up as your store scales. In the beginning, it is pretty manageable. And I say pretty manageable only because, as with anything, there is a learning curve. And I try my best in these videos on YouTube, in my course, to make that learning curve as easy as possible for new sellers. And I think I do a pretty good job at it. But in the beginning, it will require you to, again, put in that work and to make sure that you really focus to be able to learn the system. But in the beginning, everything's very manageable. It's only once you scale up that these bigger problems come up, but of course they do, because you're running a business. And as you scale up, you're going to get these problems, and I consider them good things because they're a sign that you're growing, that you're making more money. And they are good problems to have, in my opinion. So if those are the things you're worried about, I would strongly urge you to just get started with this or with something. If you're on the fence about a couple of different side hustles you could start or ways to make money online, just pick one and go for it. Otherwise, you're never going to get anything done, Bobby. So that'd be my advice to you, unless I totally misunderstood your question. And King is saying that he just started drop shipping. He's a 22-year-old college student. Just started June 8th, already $7,300 in sales. Way to go, man. And he recently got tax exempt too. Congratulations. Should I download taxjar for sales tax? You don't have to download it, which is pretty cool. It's all online. And yeah, I would check it out. At least try the free 2-week trial. So if you guys do click on that second link, try the 2-week trial. You might as well. It's free. You can always cancel it and see if it works for you. Play around with it. And I think you're going to really like it because I love it. And Vince is saying it's not Tuesday. And that's because I normally do my live Q&As every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern here on my YouTube channel. But this week I had something to do Tuesday. Didn't think I was going to be able to get on a live stream for you guys, but I really wanted to make this video for you guys and chat with you because I missed you guys on Tuesday. So I'm doing it Thursday night, but it's usually always going to be on Thursday night. It will be, sorry, on Tuesday night. So it's going to be this coming Tuesday again. So if you don't want to miss those, make sure you do subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so that you get an alert every time I go live. And David is asking if I've ever had a problem with VAs using my gift cards for other purposes. No, I haven't. And I don't really see what they would use them for. The only thing that might happen is that they could sell the gift cards, but then they're out of a job. And the gift cards, you know, I'm not giving them access to a lot of money on the gift card, just enough to make the purchases. So they sell those gift cards. Now I'm going to fire them, and they're out of a job, out of a stream of income. Okay. And ATL World is asking why PayPal's holding some funds after 90 days. To be honest, I don't know. Without looking at your account, I wouldn't know why that is. Just call PayPal. They'll probably tell you what the issue is. Okay. People are asking me to make a video about Zeek Analytics. I might do that in the future. And that's just a software that helps you find profitable items to sell on eBay. So maybe I'll make a video about that. Connie, thank you so much because you make a great point here. Connie is saying, I think early in the chat, some people are getting things confused. Let's see what you say. I hope everyone understands that you have to pay sales tax or have to collect sales tax from your buyers and send them to the appropriate state, whether or not you are tax exempt. Absolutely, you are correct as far as what I'm doing. And I'm just saying it like that because I'm not a tax expert. Again, if you want advice, I would go speak to a tax expert. But what I'm doing is whether or not I am tax exempt, I'm still responsible, or I still think I'm responsible to collect sales tax for New York and now these 11 other states as well. Whether or not I'm tax exempt, I still have to collect that sales tax and send it to the states. So don't get the two confused. Even though they sound very similar, they're two very separate things. Okay, let's see what else is here. Yancey is asking if my VAs have access to Giving Assistant. Yeah, they absolutely do because they need to have access to it in order to go through Giving Assistant so I get the cash back for those purchases. A lot of love for Zeek Analytics in here. Sarah saying they're awesome. They have great customer service. So yeah, I should definitely make a video on them because they are a really good program to use, software. Bobby is has a great idea here. Bobby says, I'm thinking about starting on eBay just by listing some things I have at home just to get me through those 90-day PayPal jail period. I think that's a pretty good idea for a number of reasons, Bobby. Sorry. So if you list a bunch of items you have at home, you can sell them for whatever you want. Just get them out of your hair. It might be stuff you're trying to get rid of anyway. Kind of learn how eBay works. It will help you get out of PayPal jail. You'll get hopefully some good feedback and you'll learn how the system works. Is it necessary? Absolutely not. I didn't sell anything on eBay until I started doing drop shipping, but it's not a bad idea if it's something you want to try. There is a bunch of junk around my own home that I should probably offload somehow. So maybe I'll sell on eBay. Okay. And ATL World is asking how much DSM tool is, and it is free to use it for the first 50 listings. I should have left the link. Usually, oh, I do have the link to it. So if you scroll down in the description of my video, it says my favorite repricer and lister. And you click on that link and that'll take you to DSM tools. I don't know why it's all the way down there. I should put it closer to the top. So Isidore says, been taking your free course, Paul J. Lipsky, spelled Lip Sky YouTube channel. Got DSM tool. Yes, absolutely right. I kind of have to clarify how my name is spelled because sometimes people spell it with an I at the end. But yeah, he's talking about this free training I have, which is the third link in the description of my video. Just a free webinar. It's an older video from earlier this year, but it's still completely relevant and works. If you guys want to check that out, I should probably update that just because it's a few months old, but it's still completely relevant and works. Let's see. So people sometimes ask me about these other repricing softwares besides DSM tools. Somebody's asking me about AutoDS tools. Someone asked me about another one before. I haven't tried all of them. There's a lot of them, but I have tried a few, and I just like DSM tool because it works really well for me and because I'm really happy with the pricing of it. I think especially for new sellers, it can be a burden when you have to pay a high price just to list items onto eBay. And DSM tool really makes it easy, especially when you get those 50 free listings. And Frank's asking a question about that free webinar because in that webinar, I show you how to find profitable items to sell on eBay. And I do it all manually, but I don't do it manually anymore. I use software to do that. And it's a really great idea to use software to do that research. So I'll be wrapping it up here in a few minutes. So if anyone has any last minute questions, I'd be happy to answer them. But if you, like I said, guys, in the beginning of this video, this sales tax thing can be really confusing, but it doesn't really have to be. If you use taxjar, it's really making it super simple for me to understand which states I have to collect and remit sales tax for, at what point I have to do that. So if you guys do want to check out taxjar, I would strongly encourage you to at least try it for 2 weeks for free. It's the second link in the description. It's just my name, pauljlipsky.com/tax. Try it out for 2 weeks, see if you like it. And if I've answered your question or you got some value out of this, make sure to give the video a thumbs up and do subscribe to the channel for more great content moving forward. If you don't want to miss these live streams either, make sure to hit that bell notification so you get an alert every time I do go live. Let's see if there's any last minute questions I can answer. Let's celebrate Vince's victory. Vince says eBay surprised him today with a limit increase, meaning that he can now list more items into his store, and more listings equal more sales. So congratulations to Vince on that one. And Denna says, Denna, you say that you have some questions about my course. You can either drop the questions into the comment section of any of my videos and I'll answer them, or just go to the course itself. Again, that's the first link in the description of this video. On the bottom right-hand corner of that sales page, you're gonna see a little chat box. You can send me a message right there. That goes right to me. I don't have any VAs helping me answer emails or questions or messages on YouTube. So any question you send in that chat box, any comment you leave on YouTube, it's going to be me who's responding. So that's a great way to get in contact with me. All right, let's see if any last minute questions. Edwin is asking the steps of Snoptimization. Edwin, check out that free webinar, and that's going to answer all your questions right there, man. All right, guys, so it's been 55 minutes. I'm going to wrap it up right now. And I hope you guys got some great value out of this. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you weren't watching this live, consider joining us next Tuesday or almost every Tuesday for the live chats. It's a great way for me to get those questions from you guys right away. We have fun here. You can celebrate each other's victories. And yeah, so consider subscribing to the channel and joining me on a live chat. Otherwise, thanks so much, guys, for watching. It's always great to be here with you guys. I'm really glad I got to do this week because I missed you guys on Tuesday, and I'll see you guys on Tuesday.